channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the movie Terminator Dark Fate. Now this is a direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now this is also the 6th film in the overall Terminator franchise, but it is like a sequel that retcons the entire franchise from Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines all the way to Terminator Salvation and Terminator Genesis. So those 3 films don't exist at all. This film is actually a direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, right here, as you can see, which is one of my all-time favorite films, Now, one of the things that is cool about this film is that it is kind of like a reunion of some sorts of some like the original actors, even like the director, like James Cameron is back on board as producer. He directed the first Terminator and Terminator 2. He left like the series after that, but this time he's back on board as just a producer only, not the director, But you also have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who returns to the role of the T-800 Terminator Terminator T-800 basically. He returns to that role. Then you also have Linda Hamilton, who returns to the role of Sarah Connor. So that is kind of a cool thing. And at the same time, you do have some I don't want to get into it too much because it's kind of spoiler territory. But it's like Edward Furlong himself, he does return to the role of John Connor, But I'm going to give a hint that it isn't really that long, It's a pretty awesome scene too. It was cool, what happened with his, I guess you could say his character basically. But yeah, in the end, you also have Tim Miller, who also directed movies like Deadpool. He's actually on board as the director of this film. Now this film does bring in a new cast of characters, that I'm gonna touch on as I go throughout the review. But in the end, I must admit this was a pretty good film. I really did like this Terminator film, This is to me probably the best Terminator film they had since Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Seriously, it really is that entertaining and good of a film, Now I felt like once it got towards the end of the film, it kind of felt like it was dragging, But overall this does turn to be a pretty solid film, But anyway, this film does open with like I said, it's hard to actually hit certain things because it kind of spoil it, but it does kind of open with a scene, say involving Sarah Connor and John Connor that explains what happens with them, what goes on with them. God, I want to touch on it so bad, but it's kind of like spoiler territory, But what then happens after this sequence, this incident with Sarah Connor and John Connor, it actually jumps 22 years into the present, which is present day now. It jumps 22 years into present day, because the sequence that happens with them is actually in 1998 when it actually happens. But then it jumps 22 years to where we're at now, present day. So you have this woman known as Diana. I think it's Diana, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Danny. It has her this character known as Dan. Her name is actually Daniela, and she's just a simple I guess I don't want to get kind of racist or anything, but she's a Hispanic woman, a young girl, and she's played by Natalia Reeves, and she's actually just doing her daily duties, so. But then suddenly this new kind of Terminator shows up from the future, and this is known as the Rev 9. He's played by Gabriel Luna. So he actually shows up and he's actually targeting her for termination. But at the same time, while he shows up, another Terminator shows up known as Grace. Now this actually isn't a Terminator, this is spoiler territory too again. She's actually a normal human, Kyle was from the Terminator, original Terminator. She's actually for once a normal human being, not a machine, but she's genetically enhanced. So they got stuff with her that makes her a super soldier, so she actually is still a human. And I think that was kind of cool that they did it, because they actually shows moments in the film where her character's an alien and she's hurt and wounded, and she actually needs to take I think certain things to keep her body, to keep her actually functioning right. She actually has a problem where she can be alien at times. So I thought that was kind of cool that they gave us a character, but then again she's not really a Terminator or anything like that. That is alien, and she was pretty good, but she's actually here to actually stop the Rev 9 from actually terminating Danny, who's played again by what was the chick name? I forgot her name, I'm sorry. I think, Natalia Reeves, she actually sent her to protect Danny from the Rev 9. And of course, at the same time, Sarah Connor shows up, it's kind of obvious what probably happened to, I ain't gonna get into the spoiler territory, but she shows up at the same time. She actually joins us, these two women, I guess you could say, because Grace is still actually a normal person, a normal human. She's just genetically enhanced, she actually does join them. But then it turns out that something happens, like I said, I go into all this and that, Skynet, the actual supercomputer web no longer actually exists in this timeline because it was never actually, I guess, because of what happened, they never actually was conceived, so they actually made like a new thing known as Legion, and this is the one that actually sent back to Rev 9, to actually kill Danny, and that's why Grace was actually sent back to stop the Rev 9. So you have like a new artificial intelligence known as Legion instead of the Skynet. So it's kind of cool, and at one point, actually while they team up, they actually have to just figure out how they're going to save Danny. Like Sarah Connor and Grace have to figure out how they're going to save Danny from the Rev 9, and so on. Then they actually come across the original T-800 Terminator, like played by Arnold Schwarzenegger again, and he's there to actually help them too as well. But he has like a dark kind of past, like his character too as well. If I get into it, I can't, it kind of ruins it. But something he actually did in this film is kind of like, it's kind of shocking, and it's kind of shocking that Sarah Connor still is actually stand with him, to do this, because of what his character actually did in the film, If you look at it, you can kind of see probably what happened with what he did, early, as far as like the early events of this film goes, But the film does turn to be pretty cool, and the action scenes that were actually in the film that were filmed, they were doing pretty good. Like a lot of the action scenes were awesome, especially like the opening scene because it was like long and it kind of like, I was surprised at how long it was and how it actually started out, all the scenes of it was amazing. I thought it was filmed very well. Like the action was good in this film, especially like some of like the mid part action scenes, was like in the middle of the film, even like towards the end of the film. Not like I said, towards kind of the end of the film, I feel like it was kind of like dragging to a certain extent, but it's still trying to be a pretty decent film, And I thought everybody had a good amount of screen time, and you could tell that like the actual storyline for this film, it was awesome. They actually wrote it in a manner where this actually can end. Well, because of what happened with like the character like John Connor's song, they actually can make like a whole bunch of bunch of more like or add to the mythos and mythology of the Terminator like universe. Basically, they can actually just make so much stuff, to actually contribute to that, Now David Goyer, he was also like behind some of the story too as well, along with James Cameron too as well. But I thought it was pretty cool what happened in this film, Now the Rev 9 himself, he was awesome. He's actually basically like a combination of endoskeleton and T-1000, but his actually like liquid form, instead of being like the silver like metallic look like the T-1000 had from like Terminator 2 and Genesis. This one is actually like a black liquid metal, and I didn't really like that it was actually like black looking, like a black ooze, almost like venom, I didn't really like that it looked like that, but it was okay, but it was still cool seeing him like separate at times, the things he could do in song was awesome, and it was kind of strange that Grace's character, being that she's just still like a human, but she's just genetically enhanced, that she was actually just able to just beat him down, like constantly just beat him up, and she wasn't even like a Terminator, she's actually still like a human, but just like genetically enhanced, So I thought that was kind of interesting, But I thought Tim Miller did a pretty good job on directing the film. Like the action and stuff was pretty good. It feels like a Terminator film, There are calls back to like Terminator 2 and so on and everything. I thought that was awesome. I thought Arnold was pretty good in his role. Now his screen time is long, but he doesn't really show up until kind of like, I guess you could say, like mid-act, that's spoiler territory. But that's okay, because he does still have like a lot of screen time in this film, But overall, like some of the feature sequences too were awesome too. Like the opening like feature sequence was cool, and as usual, they don't really be too long. They kind of other Terminator films. I know Terminator Salvation was set completely like in the future, but these other ones right here, like this right here in this film is actually kind of similar to the previous Terminator films, where the future scenes were really that long. But it was still a pretty good film. But I must admit, like I said, this is the best Terminator film I've seen since Terminator 2: Judgment Day. I really do believe this is probably the third best film in the series, it really was on that level, I do think it was better than Salvation. I do believe it was better than Genesis, So I really did enjoy this film, And again, this is retconning like Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis. This is a direct sequel to Judgment Day, so you have to be prepared for that. And I thought everybody did pretty good in their role, like Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800, Mackenzie Davis as Grace, Natalia Reeves as Danny, and then you have Gary Balloon as the Rev 9. I thought it was pretty good, and like I said, there was some of the moments with the Rev 9. It felt kind of, it wasn't too great, but he was still like a cool, like villain. I thought it was awesome the stuff that he can do, But then I hope I'm not forgetting anything, because like I said, there's so much stuff I did want to touch on, but it's kind of taken into spoiler territory. But then this film was pretty good, Terminator Dark Fate. So at the end, I think I'm going to give this I kind of want to give it a B, but I think I'm just going to give it like a B minus, just to be like safe, because there were certain things about just kind of keeping it from being a full-fledged good film, you know, so I think I'm gonna just give it a B minus. But I would definitely recommend it for fans of the Terminator films, especially like the first two Terminators, you know, because it does really like stick closely to those, and then you have the characters like Linda Hamilton returning as Sarah Connor, you know. Edward Furlong makes a brief appearance as John Connor, you know, but at the same time it's like a CGI effect that they did with his character, you know, like his likeness, you know, they just took Edward Furlong's likeness and applied it to that particular character, you know. Then at the same time, you know, James Cameron was back on board as producer, so he actually even contributed to the story too as well. So I think that was cool. That's one of the things that I think really kind of saved the film, you know. And it's actually a really good action spectacle type film, you know. I would definitely recommend it, you know. So yeah, that's my review for Terminator Dark Fate. I'm giving this a B minus. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.